Three, two, one. All right, guys, I'm back with you with another episode of the Kingdom Business Breakthrough Podcast. And those of you that are watching on YouTube, you're going to get a little bonus. You get to see my friend Christopher Harold here. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Derek? What's going on? Doing good. Doing good.
I'm glad you're good, and I'm so excited. We just got to chat a few minutes before I start recording. Christopher and I go back here about 9 months here. We started getting involved with this organization. But before I get into that, I want to give everybody a quick bio on who you are. So, and on Chris, and I can call you Chris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. On Chris's Facebook profile, he's got a pretty cool profile on there. It says he's a family man, an online entrepreneur, a lead generation expert, a marketing consultant, and my favorite part, a really cool dude.
Oh man, yeah, it's got to be a cool dude, Got a cool dude. Everything else is all, useless and vain.
If you're not having fun with life, why do it, right?
Exactly.
Well, so I was alluding to earlier that we were part of a group called 100X. It is I'd say coaching, consulting, kingdom, building of businesses kind of organization. And we're in a mastermind group called Expansion, which right now I think there's about 30 of us, if I had to guess. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, about 30 to 40.
Yeah, so 30 to 40 in the entire world. So we're part of a pretty cool small number of mastermind people. Are you going to go out to the conference out here in Vacaville?
Yeah, that's God willing. That's the plan.
Awesome, man. So I'll be out there too, and I'm bringing my wife this time. So those of us that haven't had the privilege to get to know you yet, won't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of what you specialize in?
Yeah. So my person, actually, I always got to recognize, my wife as well. I'm married. My wife and I been married like 17 years this September, so which is awesome. And we have 3 wonderful children as well. So God bless us with 3 kids, and we live in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And as far as business, I've been in the online marketing arena for a little while, quite a few years. I've actually been full time as that in the last over 3 years now. So since 2016, I've been full time online, helping businesses to get more leads, sales and clients online. I've been creating my own coaching programs, creating my own products and services as well, teaching people how to build businesses online, teaching them how to get more leads, how to get more clients. I've been working with mortgage people, realtors, different business owners, different types of entrepreneurs as well, teaching others brand new how to be able to start a business online, never did it before. So it's been fun. I love what I do, and it's awesome to be able to, bring the kingdom element with that as well, on top of just the expertise towards the online marketing and lead generation, everything goes, and funnels and all that good stuff.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that. So to you, what is a kingdom entrepreneur? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think one of the biggest things that I guess one of my biggest light bulb moments was that there's a difference between a Christian doing business and a kingdom entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea until I became aware, like I said, the group, and just seeing like, wow, there is a big difference. Because prior to that, many years before, I was a Christian doing business, where I would kind of get my strategies and techniques from, I guess you would say, secular people and with a lot of strategy, and some probably borderline, some strategy you get just to make sales. You would do those things in the name of making sales, but not necessarily maybe in the best interest of everybody who you're working with. And when you realize that there's a different element to that, and you really can't separate the two. That's why I see a kingdom aspect from it. So a kingdom entrepreneur, in my opinion, is someone that's bringing down the influence of the kingdom of heaven, from the Father himself into our marketplace, bringing that whole influence or whole code of ethics, the whole culture. I mean, just everything, bring the whole facet of that, the whole rule and reign and culture and economic system and marketing and tactics and strategies, everything into our marketplace, into, what we do here in the business world. So it's just, to me, it's like two different, it's like paradigm shift, like two different, it's just, wow. It's like you got one aspect over here. And so the kingdom side is definitely, in my opinion, way higher than a Christian doing business, and definitely higher than just a traditional being in the business world, the normal business world. Because like I said, you do strategies in the name of making money in a normal business world. As the kingdom, we know we have higher standards, and we look at, we tend to do things a whole lot different because of who we represent.
So let me ask you this. So what's a specific example, if you can think of something where this is kind of the world's way of doing marketing versus a kingdom way of doing marketing? Let's just get real practical for people.
Yeah, I guess a real practical example, I can use this. You see it quite often in the internet marketing world, since that's where I really specialize in, is the internet marketing world, is that when a lot of times we're offering a product, and it's just as simple. Someone may say, well, hey, I got 5 copies left. The first 5 people that respond to this email, or first 5 people go to this sales page is going to get it. Then you look a day later and, the page is still up. It's still, and it's false scarcity. I mean, that's the simple aspect, but if something online is digital, well, you're not really limiting the amount of copies that you have available. You see that a lot. I mean, so that's a small example. Then, of course, you can get, different strategies that you use, using shame, using guilt, just really saying things that are not true in the name of making sales. But, I mean, on our online marketing world, rest of the digital marketing world, saying, hey, I only got 10 more products available when it's a digital product. Yet, a week later, you're going to be offering it again in the marketplace. So you see that a lot, in the online marketing world, and it's very, it's like, okay, yeah, right. Or just a strategy people use. For example, everyone now is really selling greed. Like if you go to YouTube, I can't go to YouTube without seeing a YouTube ad. And everybody's telling you how many Lamborghinis they got, how many mansions they got. They're making $1 million a day online now. When it's just not true. It's just using those kind of tactics to try to get folks jealous or envy, to try to use that as a selling tactic. It's just not kingdom. It's things I did in the past because I learned from those kind of people. Right? That's all I knew because I didn't know any better. So so I'm not proud to say, but I used some of those tactics because I saw that they worked.
Yeah.
And so just different things like that you see in the online marketing world where, when it's just not true. And it's so easy to see through it now. And it's like, oh, come on, real, please. I see an ad on Facebook. Come on, man, get out of here. But that type of deal.
So what's an example? So we got an example of or a few examples of what not kingdom, marketing strategies. What would be a kingdom marketing strategy that would fulfill, you being a business owner and wanting to get more sales, but also doing it in a principle focused way?
Yeah. If we go back to the urgency and scarcity example, would be to have a real debt. I'll give you an example. About 2 weeks ago, I was doing a promotion for my birthday a couple of weeks back, and I had a hard deadline. And the deadline was, you have to enroll in the program or the amount is going to go back up. And I gave like a 67% off discount for my birthday. Where literally I had a guy who was messaging me a couple of minutes before the deadline was going to, and he said, well, hey, let's make a deal. How about that, how about I'll let you know in the morning if I want to do this and, and you still give me the same deal. I said, listen, I can't do that. I have to be a man of my word. I said, I understand that's what a lot of marketers do. They will say, it has to be done by 12 midnight. And they'll give you the same deal tomorrow. But I said, if I got to do that to you, I got to do it for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and so I cannot send out an email, to thousands of people saying, hey, deadline is midnight, yet, not honor that the next day for a couple $1,000. And so I told a guy there and, I couldn't do it, and he wasn't happy with it and he didn't buy it. But, I didn't, it's like, I had to hold fast to my integrity because, I didn't feel the guy was going to buy anyway, but I think he was really testing me because he mentioned earlier that a lot of folks would say things, but then do another. And I said, well, I'm not that type of person. I said, I have to be a man of my word because of who I represent.
Yeah.
And so I had to stick fast to the deadline and so that's one example that I recently just happened to me because
I think that's a good one, man. Because a lot of people do see these false deadlines. They see false quantities. They, if there's really 10, like I think I've heard you talk about before, you can't say like I only have 10 ebooks available. Well, you can print there is no a limited amount of ebooks. Like you could literally make 1 billion of them and you never run out. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you can do real deadlines. It's going to end by midnight. Or if you got a program, you said a coaching program, hey, I'm allowing the first 7 people to get in my program.
And that's legit. I mean,
That's legit, right?
Yeah.
Right. If it's 7 and you need to cut it off at 7, you can get greedy. Oh, let me let 2. Now you're violating yourself and your principle, and that's going to come back on you, for the sake of a few $1,000. It's not worth it long term.
What do you think? So those of us here that are listening that don't have the privilege of learning from the guys that we do, tell them a little bit about marketing funnels, ClickFunnels versus like a website, because I want you to be kind of giving these guys some real nuggets of truth and knowledge and educate people a little bit. So if someone's like, well, I've had a website for years, I advertise on Yelp or Google or Facebook or whatever, what's the difference between that and a traditional website versus some of these things you're talking about, which are more like ClickFunnels and marketing funnels?
End of the day, I tell people, do you want to make sales or you just want to get fans?
Mm-hmm.
Websites. I had websites for years. I studied HTML, JavaScript. I was building websites around 98, 99 when they first came out. So websites are not designed to sell. Websites are designed to promote. That's a difference. Like I said, that's
like
a difference.
Brand recognition versus sale.
Yeah. If you want just to put yourself out there and have fancy websites and all that kind of nice bells and whistles and all that, and you can do a website. But in this day and age, you have to use direct response marketing if you want to elicit a sale. And of course, if you're in business, bottom line is you need to make sales. You need leads, you need clients, you need to make sales. And so a funnel is going to allow that process to happen 10, 15, 20 times a lot faster, because it gets people to elicit a response. It gets people to take action. On a website, they're not going to take any action. You got these about us link here, why we started this business here, contact us here, all that. No, with a website, we use something called an ethical bribe. And that's an interesting term, because with a lot of stuff we're talking about with kingdom principles, everything, but an ethical bribe. And so what's an ethical bribe? An ethical bribe is if, for example, you want to grow your business and I can show you how to grow your business. Okay, well, I may put together a free little cheat sheet. Here's 10 ways to grow your business, without spending a whole lot of money, something, whatever, right? And I'll give you these 10 things in a little Microsoft Word document, save it as a PDF, and then I put it up on my funnel website on my page, and I say, hey, here's 10 tips to help you grow your business. All I need you to do is give me your name and email address.
Yeah.
In exchange for that, I'm going to give you what you're after. And so that's what we call an ethical bribe, and that's what a funnel can allow you to do. And once you get inside that funnel, now I'm going to keep giving you more solutions to your problems, because I know if you want to learn how to get more leads, then it's a next step that you need to take in that process. So it's different steps, that we call the buyer cycle, I guess. And so it's like getting you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, where I feel that my end goal is my end product. I know it can solve your particular problems you're looking for. And I know you're going to need to do more than just to give you that first step. A funnel will allow that stuff to happen without you having to manually be involved, hard sell, and it will get people to take steps that they want to take. And once they're ready to buy, they directly respond to that. Unlike a website, it's just, going to be really, like I say, a website is more like a billboard. I look at billboards. Billboards are fine, but unless you got a business that can get a fast response from a billboard, most type of billboards are a waste of money. It's really for branding. It's not really for direct response advertising. Get people to take an action, what you want them to take. Buy this or go here or click here or something like that. So,
okay,
that's one of the biggest advantages over a funnel compared to a traditional website.
So I kind of got involved with 100X to learn more about funnels. They called it Kingdom Funnels about, I think it was March of last year or March of this year. Gosh, this year's flown by. And also because of Pedro, obviously he had some pretty awesome teaching out there. And I listened to all of his podcasts before I went to that first conference. And one thing I've kind of learned from him and learned from you is that there is an ethical standard that we can hold to still get people what they want and what we know is kind of good for them. I don't know if that's a way to I don't know if that's like a derogatory thing to say or not, but like you kind of do know what's better for some people. If you're truly coming from a heart where you, like for me, I'll give you an example. Like I think about this for the people I teach and train that are trying to become real estate agents.
Yeah.
I always tell them, like, imagine your worst enemy competitor out there that's a terrible real estate agent that would totally rob, cheat, steal, whatever from anybody. And you think about your best friend about to list their home and sell it with that agent because you didn't step up and say, hey, I can help you. You didn't like make a proactive action to get in front of that person so that you were the one representing them. Now, if you're like me, I'm a kingdom focused guy. I want people to get the best deal. I want them to, get the most amount of money. I want them to get the best terms. I want to take care of them. And during the process, I'm going to keep the drama out. So I'm thinking through, like, how do I make this a 5-star experience for my clients? I know this other, let's say Agent X is not going to do that. So for me, when I talk about marketing, I feel like it's part of my duty to make sure I'm getting in front of people. So I don't want them to fall in the hands of a weak agent at a weak moment. And I kind of feel like that's where the ClickFunnels ethical part of this comes in. If you truly believe in what you're offering as a, I don't even like to use the word salesperson, but I'm like a consultant or
problem solver.
Problem solver, facilitator, whatever you want to call it. But I want to come in there and help where I can, and I don't need to be involved where I'm not. So I'm not going to try to push myself into someone in their situation where they don't need me. So I feel like what you're saying is that there are tactics and procedures and principles that we can follow, but we also need to know the why behind that. And it sounds like that is kind of like they need us more than they know, basically, right?
Yeah. And that's true, because people don't, what's the old saying that people can't see the forest from the trees?
Yeah.
When you deep entrenched in what you're doing, you really can't see from the outside. We can see the outside perspective, and so, that's one of the biggest deals. And even as you say in marketing world, that a lot of times, you have to give people what they, what they sell them what they want, but give them what they need.
Mm-hmm.
People say, I want one thing, but they need something else, but they don't know that until you give them what they want. They're not going to even hear what you want to sell them what they need. So like you said, you give them what they want first. They want a great experience, to give them that, but then you can hit them with something else that they need internally as well. And that's one of the huge advantages that we have, with the kingdom principles, is because when we just say we just in the world, bottom line is just making more money. It's not necessarily transforming somebody's life.
Oh yeah, I agree. So like, I'm just curious. So if somebody wanted to if they're an entrepreneur listening to this and they're like, okay, I've never heard ClickFunnels before. I've never heard of marketing funnels. Yeah, I've got a website. Yeah, I've got, Facebook and this and that. What would you consider like some next step transitions or some helpful things to get somebody that's never done that before to become kind of the, next generation of marketing and sales that's kind of available right now that's working? Like what's the step in between?
That's an interesting question, because there are so many ways, where you can get started online. I just did a training last week, and I was explaining to people there's so many different ways you can earn online, and you really have to, I won't say know why you're doing what you're doing, but anyway, because don't do it for just to make money. Yeah. That's a mistake I made. I did a lot of things online just for the sake of making money. But then 90 days later, I was like still empty, still miserable, this. And so it's like, okay, well, what do you really have a passion about? Because see, ClickFunnels is just a tool. That's why, I don't, it's just a tool. It's just like lead pages or whatever else. It's just a tool. But you have to have something to bring to the table in order to use that tool. Just like if I got an axe, well, I need a tree to chop down. I gotta have something to use this axe with in order for this axe to be effective. Same thing with ClickFunnels. So you have to have, couple of things you have to have really quick.
Yeah.
You have to have an audience. So number one, you have to have an audience that has a problem, and you have to have a solution that can solve their problem. If you're missing any one of those components, then it doesn't really matter what tools we have because, you know, it's not going to work. So you have to have an audience. So easy audience with me will say, okay, well, I know business owners want more clients. Well, what do they need to get more clients? Well, they need to get more leads. Okay, great. Well, I know I can help them get more leads because I know how to run ads, I know how to do funnels, and I have a system that's all been doing it. So now what I have to do is I got a solution to the problem. Now I got to put myself in front of them and say, hey, I can help solve your problem so that way you can solve other people's problems, you know, what you do in your business. And so it's understanding that, because at the end of the day, that's all entrepreneurship is solving problems.
Yeah.
You know, and the more problems you solve for the more people, then, you know, of course, the more people you can help. But end of the day, it's really understanding that. Find a group of people that have a problem. You have a solution to that problem and make those two things meet. That's what really marketing is. You know, make those two things marry together. And you know, of course, it's easier said than done, but it's basically the overall concepts of it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if someone's listening out there, they have figured out, okay, I have a problem to solve. They feel like they're good at doing that. They feel like they want to add value to other people. They already have a product or service. They got the axe, like you said. So now they're going from a traditional website or marketing to this ClickFunnels. What are some basics that kind of grab people into these funnels that, like we already talked about being ethical and also but give us some kind of practical.
Yeah, we got to have a hook. What I call a lead magnet.
Yes. So you said earlier, like a PDF form or something like that, right?
Yeah. That many lead magnets. It got to be some type of thing to get somebody's attention, a hook, because people are inundated with so much information online. So the same thing, if you go fishing, you got to put some bait on that line or the fish won't be biting. We got to give people a hook, a PDF or a webinar or a challenge, you know, like, or some type of series. You want to give something of value away, most likely for free initially, because now it puts you in good favor, and also it sets off that, you know, that the psychological. This is more, you know, it's a book called Robert Cialdini talks about, you know, influence. It's that, like, the law of reciprocity, you know, where now people have to, if you give them something for free up front, they feel obligated to give you something back in return. So give them something of value, give them something that can even solve a problem, you know, up front, and then, you know, offer your product or service to really, you know, be able to give them what they want. So
I think that's awesome. So you start with something of value that they didn't have before. You prove to them that, you know, they asked for something, you gave it to them, no strings attached. So are you collecting an email, and then what are you doing with that? Like, what's the next step?
Yeah, the basics. Yeah, you want to minimum get an email. You know, if you can get more, you know, name, phone number, and email, it's even better, because now, like, a lot of my funnels, I use text messaging. So that's why it's the phone number. In this day and age of marketing now, I believe the phone number is more important than the email. Now you got to know how to get it, because some people don't give it. But because text messaging is really it increases the conversion rates a lot in my business, because, you know, email open rates are not what they used to be 10, 15 years ago, you know, because of spam and everything like that. So everybody checks text messaging. Also, you want to use tools like Facebook Messenger. I mean, you know, there are tools out. So text messaging, Messenger will increase the conversion rate a lot. But yeah, you want to at least minimum get that, and then you follow up with more value, and you want to give them something that I call a call to action. You send someone an email after they're already on your list. You want to have a follow-up system, use an autoresponder. There are tools out there you can use an autoresponder to send them like an email. And the point of that would be, if someone doesn't understand that, you and I have been to the mall before. We've been shopping at the mall before. How many times we walk into a store in the mall and we leave? Yeah. Quite often, right? Now, right. that business owner, we walked into their place of establishment. Obviously, we're interested because we walked through their doors. Yet, if we leave, that business owner has no way of following up with us, right? Zero, right. So, but online world, we use, you know, the funnel or the lead capture page to get their name and email. So if someone enters our door, our place of, you know, business, and there's the offline world, now we can follow up with them. Unlike a traditional offline business, we walk into a store and we leave, they can't. So that's one of the huge advantages of doing it as well, because most people don't buy the very first time they see something. I mean, the statistics say 1 to 3% of people will buy your product or service the very first time they see it.
What percentage?
1 to 3%.
That's it? Wow.
Yes, very first time someone sees your product or service. So, I mean, every 100 person that comes, they're introduced to your product or service, 1 to 3 of them will buy the very first time they see it.
Yeah, I can see that in my business. It's a high ticket price item too. And so is yours, like consultancy. So, I mean, people aren't going to spend thousands of dollars by just clicking on an ad.
Right. And so
we expect them to, like as a marketing person. But we kind of, in a weird way, expect them to they should see like I'm the best, and obviously they're going to plunk down $10,000 for what I'm going to do. Right. People have yeah, right, dude. I don't even know you, and you want to jump in bed. That's not okay.
There you go. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. So what we do with the other 97 and 99% of the people is what we use of follow-up campaigns, follow-up emails and other ways of communicating, more ads, targeting, retargeting that same audience.
Let's talk about that, because I mean, I'm writing this down here, so because I love what you're saying. So there's 2 types of follow-up. It sounds like, well, 3. You got the email follow-up system. You've got your text messaging you can do, and then you've got the retargeting, like I guess on Facebook or Google.
Yeah. Retargeting is very important because, again, it's the same concept that whenever you run an ad online, and if you're tracking your numbers, you will see that you will get typically more visitors at first than leads. So, for example, you say you run an ad or you're doing something and you get 100 people come to your page. Well, you may say, well, I got 100 people came to my page and I got 35 leads. You're like, woohoo! Okay, that's great. 35, the industry standard for converting is like 25%. So that's good. But
that's to get an email address.
Yeah. But that also means that 65 people you didn't get the information from.
They turned around, walked out, did not give you any contact.
Right. It's the same concept that we use for the offline business. They walked into your store, but they left without buying, or they left without you even getting their contact information. So that's why at minimum, what you want to do is we call retarget those folks. And so it'd be the same thing. I'm sure your listeners, we all been to Amazon before. And, we've been to a shopping cart and we didn't buy a product, on Amazon. What's the very first thing we see once we get on Facebook or some other place? Bam! We see that TV that we didn't buy or whatever right in our face, right?
Yep.
And we're like, what the heck is going on? Are they stalking me? Yeah, they are.
Yep.
It's because they're tracking you to retarget you, to get you back. And so that's very important because I believe you're missing out at least 30% more sales, if not higher, but at least 30% of your sales will come from retargeting people because stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
People come to your website, the dog barking, the kids are fighting, someone rings the doorbell, telephone rings, stuff happens, and so unless you get those folks a reason to say, hey, I saw you came to my website, you forgot to get the cheat sheet. Get back here as soon as possible because, this is really going to help you grow your business. And I might be taking it down soon, and which is okay to say.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think a lot of people need to hear what you're saying here because, this is a lot of people on these podcasts and stuff, they get a lot of theory, but this is I hope everyone's paying attention that's listening to this. This is the kind of the real stuff on how people's brains work and what we need to be doing. And we need to ignore our traditional ways of doing marketing. We all have these conceited notions that everybody is all paying attention to us and, we're the center of their universe, but I'm going to have to agree with Chris here. I don't think we're the center of the universe.
It could be further from the truth. Oh yeah, we think everybody, but so we have to do retargeting. Like I tell folks, I tell my clients and students all the time, I practice what I preach. I say, hey, did you see me run this ad here? Did you see me? Like when I do a webinar, I said, did you guys get my text messages about this? I said, yeah. I said, I practice what I preach because it works. Mm-hmm. Somebody that's telling you to do it for your, for your leads and clients. I'm telling you this because it's proven it works because you're here. If it didn't work, you wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So it works. And so yeah. And people have a short attention span. So you have to do these extra things that maybe 15 years ago you didn't have to, but you have to now because out of sight, out of mind, and it's so much noise in the online space. So you have to stay in front of people. They have to see you. I'd rather people unsubscribe from my email list. I'd rather them say, stop showing me your ads. I'd rather them text me to say, hey, enough is enough, than them to say nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because
You
that means
know,
you probably haven't touched them enough.
right. Because if you believe, like you said that earlier, if you
Yeah.
believe your product or service can truly solve someone's problem, it's your duty to put it in front of them and to continue to put it in front of them multiple times, and not pushy, but it's your duty to put it in front of them and say, hey, listen, I can solve your problem. You have this problem, And so what's more important to you, your money or your problem?
Mm-hmm.
That's ultimately what it comes down, and that's what I do with my ads now. I be transparent with people.
Yep.
It's like you mentioned, it's not like the old, how marketing and ads used to go, where you kind of like, no, people want someone who's really transparent with them anyway, because that's how you cut through all the fluff, And sometimes you got to just tell people the truth. Listen, you're going to continue to struggle, you're going to continue to have these problems unless you be willing, to sow into yourself. So, yeah, but retargeting is very important, man. I mean, you have to do that nowadays because there's so much noise out there.
Okay, so somebody comes up with an offer, they put it into a ClickFunnels marketing funnel, Kingdom funnel, they put a hook of value out there, free guide, free PDF, whatever. Then they grab somebody's attention, they get the email address, they follow up with them via email, they follow up with them via text, they retarget them, which is a whole nother conversation we could have for a half an hour.
Yeah.
On how to do that, what's the mechanisms, where do you put it, the display ads? But I mean, so they could hire someone like you to basically help them do the technical side of that if somebody wasn't able to do it, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
So then they do that part. So then they keep seeing this repeated message, hey, buy from me, I got the best product, I can help solve your problems. And then there's some strategic pricing analysis, I guess, where you're going to price your product so that it's profitable but still is a good value for the client, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, and you know what? And that's really, you have to be okay with your amount, your pricing at, because one thing I've learned now, people rarely buy because of price. You will get some people, there are four reasons people don't buy. I did a training on this recently, but people don't buy, number one, because they don't have the money. Some people just don't have the money. And one thing I've learned, some people will have the money, some people won't have the money, and you always will be too expensive for somebody.
Right. So that's going to eliminate some people right off the bat.
You can sell something for $100, it'd be too expensive for somebody. You can sell something for $5,000 and it's perfect for them. So pricing is relative. All depends on who you're targeting.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason. Another reason people don't buy is they lack. I probably should say that one last because it's a really big reason people don't buy. But some reason people don't buy is they lack trust. And some people, they don't trust necessarily the seller, but most people don't really trust themselves. They don't trust themselves because maybe they bought some things in the past and they say, well, you know what? I bought X, Y, and Z product. I ain't do nothing with it. I bought ABC's product. I ain't do nothing with it.
Or it didn't work or whatever.
Yeah, right. Or it didn't work or whatever it was. And so they got this mental war going on in their own head. And it's really less to do with the seller than it's more with the individual.
Yes.
Other reason people don't buy, they have no need.
Mm-hmm.
So like I tell people all day long, I don't need to be pitched with a weight loss product. The same way I don't need to be pitched with a hair growth, or not a hair growth product, but some type of product that's going, say, hey, do your hair this way. Well, I don't have much hair, so I don't have a need for that, So
if it's a diesel engine solution and you've got a gasoline car, what do you?
Right. It's like trying to sell meat to the vegetarian.
Yeah.
That you can have the best steakhouse on planet Earth. You can say, man, I got the best cows and all this and that, and A1 this and USDA this. But if I don't eat steak, I don't eat meat, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So stop trying to sell steak to a vegetarian. So they don't have a need. And of course, the third one is they don't have a desire.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked, but some people are okay being okay.
They're okay in their comfortable place of lack or need or whatever, and they're just
yeah, they're okay with that. And it's mind-boggling to people like us. We're like, don't you want more? Because God created you to be more.
I agree. I've actually had family members tell me before, hey, you shouldn't strive so hard, like you shouldn't try so hard to be successful and all this stuff. And it's like, I think God made me that way. Like he made me to take dominion over this world. He made me to go make disciples. He made me to go conquer things, build things, grow things. I mean, first job he gave to Adam was go name every single animal.
Right.
It was kind of an ambitious task if you think about it. You get to come up with a name, whatever you think, So he's like, oh, that guy with long neck, let's call him Long Necko. It's like, I mean, that's pretty much what happened, right? And so we take this stuff for granted that God wants us to be ambitious, I think. Now, obviously, he wants us to be ambitious for things that are after his heart and not things that are against his heart. But, that's the part of, I think, there's a part of this whole kingdom entrepreneurship I think we got to be careful of, and that is we got to be always striving for a relationship with God first.
Right.
Seeking his righteousness and his kingdom. But if we're on that path and along the way we're making some money or we're satisfying clients' needs or we're building an empire of businesses or rental properties or, helping people grow their businesses, I think that's perfectly great,
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it took me a while too to get past the quote unquote religious mindset because, a lot of people in quote unquote Christianity, Christendom, have a religious mindset.
Yeah. Most of them, it seems like.
Yeah. Where they think, that they think you should just be okay, just be average and wait till you die and go to heaven before you actually can have a good life. Which is not what the Bible teaches at all. It's not what Jesus taught. It's not what, it's not the kingdom. So, but yeah, that's one of the things we have to break, that poverty mindset, that religious mindset, thinking that we're more pious, I think Mother Teresa messed it up for a lot of people,
Well, I've heard Pedro say before, he's like, who did more good for the world, Bill Gates or Mother Teresa? And 90% of Christians would say, well, Mother Teresa, obviously, and he's like, actually Bill Gates probably did more good for the world. He fed more people, he increased everyone's standard of living with Windows technology. Like we all had a personal computer in the 90s that we could actually do our finances on and our homework on and our maybe it was just enjoy life and play a game, but, our lives were improved. Then he's taken the billions of dollars and then, done, trying to eliminate child hunger and other stuff, whatever. It's not the point of, do you like the guy? Do you agree with him politically? But I think entrepreneurs, like I actually read Daniel Lapin's 2 books. I don't know if you've read those or not.
No, I haven't.
Thou Shalt Prosper and Business Secrets from the Bible. I've mentioned them before.
Oh, yeah. I do got one. Yep.
Honestly, those books are freaking amazing. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but I mean, honestly, there you go. You got to read it. You got to read that book. Here's what he says in the book.
I read this one. I read this. It's highlighted.
There you go, man. That's a great book there, man.
Yeah, I read this one. Awesome book.
So he talks about that. He's like, if you can provide value for other people, that's what you do in this world. You just constantly go out and provide value. And the people that provide the most value are the wealthiest people.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's the biggest thing we have to understand. The difference between the kingdom and religion is that, it is value. Like you said, our goal is to give as much value as possible because that reflects the kingdom. I think, religion restricts us and saying, don't do too much because you're going to start loving money. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest dichotomies that a lot of people have to break, that mental, that churchy religious mindset. I think it's a reason why, we don't have the kingdom influence in the marketplace right now as we should. I believe it has a lot to do with, the religious churchy mindset. I
agree with you, man. So as entrepreneurs, how do we balance our desire to become wealthy or to have influence or success with these kind of kingdom principles? Where do you think the balance lies? Like how do we check ourselves?
Well, I know, the late great Dr. Miles Monroe is really, he shares that never chase money, only value.
Yeah.
He said, so if we keep our focus on value, the other stuff will come. Just like, you get that from Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God, his righteousness, his right standing, and all these other things, you know, will automatically come. It's like, you know, we don't have to. And I think that's the biggest thing is really, because I know that's the big shift of not chasing money, because you take the, you know, secular mindset to business. Most people get into business. I got into business initially because, you know, I wanted to be happy doing what I want to do, but also I wanted to make money. I mean, you know, but then it takes, you know, growing, you know, and really understanding the Father's heart and maturing, you know, and growing in your walk with Christ to realize, okay, there's some things that God needs to get out of me because of what he has planned, you know, down the road. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is stop. If you are chasing money right now, if anybody listening right now, if you're chasing money right now, I pray and implore you to stop chasing money and start chasing value, meaning that give people value, give them more than what they expect, and just give them value and trust the principles. You know, you mentioned Bill Gates. Well, there are principles that God has put in place. It doesn't matter if you are a believer or not.
Right. I agree.
They'll work for you.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, we mentioned, you know, kingdom principles, ownership and steward, you know, like people talk about Uber, you know, a good example about Uber. Well, it's stewardship. That's a kingdom principle. And I don't know, you know, who God owns it, if he's in the kingdom or not, but, you know, but most people are not, but they're using these kingdom principles to prosper. So I think there's really understanding that aspect of it and realizing that there are principles God has put in place for you to benefit, you know, and we need to start applying those principles. We need to break our mindset, you know, renew our minds, you know, Romans 12:2, stop being conformed to the ways of this world, but renew our minds, you know, the kingdom thinking and realize that it is okay to prosper. I mean, if God is a king, he owns it all. If he's royalty, we're supposed to be his sons and daughters, not his servants. So why should the sons and daughters struggle and live check to check, but the king owns it all? That doesn't make any sense. That's a bad reflection on the king.
Yeah, because we're glorified through him. Like he's glorified through us. Like we are the glory of the king. We're the glory of our Father. Like I always say, I wouldn't put my kids in rags and send them to school. You know, those are my kids. I want them to look nice. I want them to have their hair combed. I want them to be straight teeth, and I don't want them shabby clothes. I mean, it's the glory of the Father. I'm their father. I want them to look good. And people go, I want them to go like, wow, their dad must take really good care of them. Well, that's kind of the way we're supposed to be telling, right?
Right. Because they have your name. They represent you.
That's right. They got my DNA in them, you know?
Right. And so we got the fathers in us, you know, once we get into the kingdom, you know, if someone's listening, you know, you have to be born again to get into the kingdom, you know, but once you're to the kingdom, then now you take on a whole new life. You know, everything changes now. And now, like, we realize we're ambassadors, you know, we're sons and daughters. We're no longer servants and, you know, have to, you know, this type of deal. So if we're sons and daughters, then why wouldn't a father want his sons and daughters to do well? I mean, it's breaking that, you know, that mindset of feeling that, you know, I need to reject wealth. I need to reject money, you know, in order to be holy, in order to go to heaven. It's like, that's works. Works can get you to heaven anyway, but, you know, that's like we can talk about so many different topics we can talk about, you know, and
I know we can go on a couple
podcasts. We talk about that too.
Well, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you or get some help with their businesses and anything like that? You do your best pitch here, man.
Oh, you know, you want to connect with me more, you know, like I said, my blog is at ChristopherHarrell.com. If you're a business owner and you're interested in, you know, growing your business, things like that nature, you can also go to workwithChrisHarrell.com. So ChristopherHarrell.com, got a blog there. I share tips, you know, all kinds of tips and videos and things there, help you grow your business right there. And you look for more direct stuff. You want more about our services, you can go to workwithChrisHarrell.com.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show, and it'll be out there soon to the world. I can't wait for everybody to hear the wise counsel of Christopher Harrell. So
I appreciate you inviting me out. This is awesome.
All right, and I'm going to see you here in about 30 days or less here in Vacaville, California.
Yep. That's the plan.
Awesome, brother. Well, I will see you soon, and let's stay in touch, man.
Oh, most definitely. All right, Derek. Appreciate it.
All right, see you, man.